Welcome back to Final Whiz. Marcus Rashford is coming back to Manchester United, and right now, he does not even have a shirt number. A player who wore number 10 for years, a player who came through Carrington, is walking back into the building with no number attached to his name. Barcelona had the option to make his move permanent. They chose not to take it. That single decision has sent one of English football's most discussed forwards straight back into a Manchester United shirt number problem. The number 10 is gone. It belongs to Matheus Cunha. The number 9 is earmarked for Benjamin Šeško. Even Rashford's old number 39, the one he wore as a teenager breaking into the first team, has already been taken by Tyler Fletcher. That leaves a small set of realistic options on the table, and none of them are guaranteed. While that story was developing, Manchester United confirmed a different signing. Cristian Orozco, a young midfielder from Fortaleza, was officially confirmed as a Manchester United player. That agreement had actually been reached almost a year earlier, in October. Under post-Brexit work permit rules, he could not join until he turned 18. He turned 18 on July 13th. The paperwork only became official this week. Two stories, a returning academy forward with no shirt to wear and a teenage midfielder who waited nearly a year to walk through the door, arrived in the same window, and both sit underneath a larger question about how this squad is being assembled heading into the new season. If you want every confirmed detail and every credible transfer line broken down the moment it happens, Final Whiz is built for exactly that. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and drop your own read on the Rashford number situation in the comments below, because this window is moving fast and there is more to come. Several transfer lines have been circulating alongside these two confirmed stories, and each one carries a different weight. Juventus are reportedly advancing in talks to sign Joshua Zirkzee, with Manchester United having already approved a loan structure. Zirkzee is reported to have given his own approval to the move, and a knock-on effect is being reported involving Jonathan David potentially leaving Juventus if the deal progresses. This is still being reported as talks rather than a completed transfer, but a club agreeing to structure an exit before a player has left typically indicates that a decision has already been made internally. Manchester United have also stepped up interest in Shakhtar Donetsk striker Kevin Ilias, a 20-year-old who scored a hat-trick using his head, left foot, and right foot in a 5-1 win. United and Arsenal are both said to have had scouts watching him. Shakhtar reportedly value him at around £30 million, with Milan and Porto also credited with interest. This name is being positioned as a contingency option, tied directly to whether Zirkzee actually departs, not as an independent, active pursuit. Michael Carrick praised Jacob Devaney following his performance in United's opening pre-season game against Wrexham, describing him as vocal and commanding. Devaney played out of position at centre-half against both Wrexham and Rosenborg, and his reputation grew following a loan spell at St Mirren, where he started every game except 2 in the second half of last season. Championship and European clubs are now reported to hold interest in a further loan move this season. The most contested transfer line involves Matheus Cunha. Reporting suggests that whether Manchester United pursue him may depend on whether Jason Wilcox is sold, with one figure inside the club having pushed the midfielder's case internally. Michael Carrick is reported to prefer either a player with proven Premier League experience or a profile closer to Tchouaméni, and there is not yet unified internal support for pursuing Cunha. This is not confirmation of interest or disinterest. It is evidence of disagreement inside the club over recruitment philosophy, and that disagreement is what has generated pressure around the Cunha name in recent days. Cristian Orozco does not yet speak English, and coaches have so far been communicating with him through Spanish-speaking players, with Diego León named as someone who has helped relay information. United sources are reported to have said they will take it slowly with him.
There is also recognition that he may be more physically mature than previous academy signings from outside Europe, though he still needs time to adapt. Manchester United have identified Fulham's Anthony Robinson as an alternative to Lewis Hall. If Newcastle reject a planned £60 million bid for Hall, United are expected to turn their attention to Robinson, who would be available for a significantly lower fee. Robinson has since been reconfirmed on United's left-back list across multiple reports, which strengthens the reading that this is an active contingency plan rather than a single mention that faded away. Michael Carrick has reportedly been an admirer of Jacob Thwaites for some time, and there are no plans to send him out on loan. He is instead expected to play for the under-21s and train with the senior squad when selected, with the aim of eventually earning a first-team debut. Separately, Tyler Adams would reportedly be keen on a move to Manchester United. He is not viewed as unsellable by Bournemouth, but the fee under discussion has reportedly risen to around £50 million, up from an earlier figure of £35 million. Marcus Rashford and Andre Onana are each reported to receive a 25% salary increase after Manchester United qualified for the Champions League, despite neither of them playing a single minute for the club this season. Rashford's wage is reported to rise to £325,000 per week, while Onana's rises to almost £200,000 per week, under clauses written into their existing contracts. This detail shifts the Rashford story from a question about a shirt number into a question about club finances shaped by agreements signed years earlier. Robinson's presence on the left-back list, repeated across several separate reports rather than mentioned once, indicates that United's recruitment staff are actively tracking two parallel routes at left-back, rather than committing all resources to a single target. The same pattern applies to the Ilias line at Shakhtar, a £30 million valuation attached to a 20-year-old with interest from four separate clubs, Manchester United, Arsenal, Milan, and Porto, only becomes relevant to United's planning if the Zirkzee exit is finalized first. Turning to the three fully developed stories of this window, the fight for Rashford's shirt number sits at the center, with number 10 taken by Cunha and number 9 earmarked for Šeško and number 39 gone to Fletcher. The realistic options being discussed are 11, 14, 20, and 21. Rashford wore number 14 during his loan at Barcelona, which had looked like the natural choice. Number 11 currently belongs to Zirkzee, a number previously worn by Ryan Giggs on the left wing. If Zirkzee leaves for Juventus, that number becomes available, and Rashford would be competing for the same left-sided attacking role Zirkzee currently occupies. A comparison has also been drawn to Robin van Persie, who wore number 20 during the season Manchester United won a Premier League title, though the number itself did not decide that outcome. The two threads, one striker's potential exit to Italy and one forward's return from Spain, are directly connected. A Zirkzee departure would open both a shirt number and a route into the team. The second developed story is Orozco's arrival. The deal itself was actually completed back in October of last year, but post-Brexit regulations meant United had to wait until he turned 18 before he could officially join. In the period between agreement and arrival, Orozco captained his national team at age group level and established himself in Fortaleza's senior team despite his age. Since arriving at Carrington, he has already featured for the under-21s, including a match against Altrincham. United have signed two first-team midfielders already this window, Andre Santos and Yuri Tielemans, with a third yet to arrive, which is part of why Orozco's arrival carries more significance than it may first appear. The comparison drawn to Moises Caicedo, who needed time to adjust before being trusted with responsibility in the Premier League, is being applied to Orozco's expected timeline as well, particularly given the language barrier already noted. The third developed story compares Manchester United's two transfer windows under Ineos. The 2025 window is remembered for the arrivals of Matheus Cunha, Bryan Mbeumo, and Benjamin Šeško, followed by a deadline day move for Sen Lemons in September. Cunha arrived in early June. Mbeumo followed roughly a month later from Brentford. Šeško arrived in August, and Lemons completed the spending in September alongside Diego Leon and Enzo Canabijik. That window was graded B, or 8 out of 10. The 2026 window has told a different story. Benjamin Šeško came close to joining Manchester United after an agreement was reportedly struck in June, only for that move to collapse entirely in July. Michael Carrick's first actual signing did not arrive until early July, when Andre Santos joined from Chelsea for an initial fee of £48 million, followed by Youri Tielemans from Aston Villa. Additional signings this window have been described as minor, including Karl Darlow, Kit Margetson, Tyrell Malacia, and Cristian Orozco. That window was graded D, or 6 out of 10. The gap between